Got the 1936A here. Been picking at it a bit, picked it up in November, rebuilt the carb on it. Got a video on that, and rebuilt the Meg is what we're gonna be going through today. So starting off with that, the procedure for timing one of the Megs to these is you see your left-hand exhaust open. So with that, and then you have the left-hand impulse. The big thing there is making sure that this is lined up with a little slot down here. And it's kind of hard to see it in there, but it's basically the line or the top of that cover back in there. Or just figure it out so that, you know, when you're looking at this, basically on the opposite side. So exactly flat across with left-hand impulse on that side. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you. So yeah, now if you look at it, got left-hand impulse, flat across. So then big thing, it's always easier, I mean, I was doing it anyways, but if you take out the plugs when you're doing this, then you can kind of also check and make sure, because now this piston's at the top of this cylinder. You don't have to worry about any of the timing. Like, you think, okay, well, it's 2 revolutions for everything, but these old Megs, they trip on every time around. So you don't have to worry about whether you're on top of the compression or top of the exhaust. They'll always be right. So then when you come over here, you should look in here, and these lugs should be perfectly sideways. And then this when it gets to the part of the Meg. So there's a video I have out of looking at this better in depth, but basically you get a little piece of wire like this so you can go into the cylinder, and you look at it on these Fairbanks Morse, and even on like the Wycos, the top is always the left-hand cylinder. So what should happen is you take this wire, pick it up, you make it so it's, you know, a little contact like that, and then turn the lugs on the Meg until you see a spark between that and the wire, and that means that the left-hand cylinder fired. So with that, then you go ahead and put the Meg perfectly on sideways like that. Do not move the lugs, keep them sideways from where it tripped. It'll trip and you'll want to go and fight it, but just make sure you hold them sideways and then put the Meg straight on like that. So now as you see, you got the lug set up straight. All you're gonna do is put it straight onto the tractor like that. You'll have to secure it loosely with your bolts first, and then I'll show you the steps on how to actually time it to it more so from there. So here we have the Meg set on the tractor now, and it's you got the gasket set in there as well. And the deal with timing these is you want to just loose enough so you can turn it all the way as far forward as possible. Then you come over to the flywheel side, and you need to do a full revolution and get the mark just lined up again. So like I said earlier, you can see it back in here. There's the mark on top of the cover. So go ahead and turn it over once, and you will hear it click one time because it has to fire this other cylinder like that. So then bring it all the way around and get it lined up again. Say about like that. So if you look, the mark should be good. So now we got the flywheel turned right, and the Meg is still as far forward as possible. And I'll need 2 hands for this, but we'll see if you can watch. Because what we gotta do now is take the Meg and turn it as far right as possible, or far back as possible. So let's set the phone up here. Yeah. Right there. So that's what they would call the normal timing on there, which is going to get you your baseline. And from there, you're going to adjust it some, but that should be pretty solid there. And the biggest thing with that is you're going to want to try to flip it back a little bit too far next, but you got to kind of fight it, like I said. And If you have to try it again, do it. I went a little bit past, so I just kind of slightly moved it back, but we'll see how it runs set like this. So in looking at your plugs, and these I'm reusing just because they're a little older, Champion W18. I think they're kind of fun just putting in these older plugs, but so when you're looking at your gap, most of them are set on these old 2-cylinders. You want 0.03 and just being able to make sure that that's set. These I cleaned up a little bit, can't quite tell here. They had a little bit of fuel fouling, but not too bad. And I'll probably put some new ones in eventually, but for now, this is gonna do. And yeah, so when you're looking at these, you got this wire running over to the left cylinder, or to flywheel side cylinder. So then that one goes in the top plug.